I'm allowed to have a past, she said when I found photos of her ex all over her phone. You're right, I agreed. Packed my things and silently left that night. She called 53 times the next day and showed up at my work crying when I didn't answer. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. Throwaway account because some mutual friends might recognize this, and honestly, I don't need the drama resurfacing. But I figured sharing this might help someone else spot the red flags earlier than I did. This all went down about a year ago, back in early 2024, and looking back, it's wild how blind I was to the slow erosion of our relationship. I'm 31 now, work as a marketing coordinator for a mid-sized firm in the city, nothing flashy, but it's stable, and I've always prided myself on being the reliable type. That's who I was with Emily too. Loyal, committed, the guy who shows up. We'd been together for just over 2 years when it all unraveled. I met her through a mutual friend at a casual get-together. Nothing dramatic, just easy conversation that turned into dates. She was 28, worked in graphic design freelance, full of that creative energy that drew me in. I thought we balanced each other out, her spontaneity against my steadiness. Early on, I made sacrifices without a second thought. Like when she got a big client gig that required her to relocate to the city. We were long distance at first, about an hour apart. I turned down a solid promotion at my old job because it would have meant staying put, and instead, I hustled to find something here so we could build a life together. Moved into a cozy apartment we could afford on our combined incomes, even though it meant dipping into my savings for the deposit. I handled most of the bills at first while she built her portfolio, cooked dinners after long days, planned little surprises like weekend hikes because she loved the outdoors. Flashback to one of those. We'd drive out to some trail, her laughing as I packed the backpack with snacks she'd forget, and she'd say things like, "You're my rock, you know that?" It felt real. Or at least, I convinced myself it did. But there were cracks, small at first. Emily talked about her ex, Jake, more than I liked. Not in a longing way. At least, not obviously, but casually, like he was just part of her past. They dated for 3 years before we met. Broke up because he was too unstable, her words. Yet she'd drop stories about trips they took or inside jokes, always framing it as harmless nostalgia. I'd brush it off. Everyone has history, right? Then came the comparisons. Subtle ones, like when I'd suggest a quiet night in, she'd sigh and say, "Jake was always up for adventure, kept things exciting." Or if I was stressed from work, Jake handled pressure so well, he thrived on it. I started feeling like a backup plan, like I was being measured against this ghost and coming up short. I confronted her gently once, about 6 months in. "Hey, it bothers me when you bring him up so much. Makes me feel like I'm competing." She rolled her eyes, laughed it off. "Oh, come on. It's just stories. You're being insecure. I'm with you now, aren't I?" I let it go, not wanting to seem controlling. Big mistake. Things escalated when I noticed her phone habits. She'd angle the screen away when texting, get defensive if I glanced over. I wasn't the jealous type, never snooped before, but the doubt built up. One night, she was in the shower, and her phone buzzed on the coffee table. A notification from social media, a like on an old photo. Curiosity got me. I picked it up, no passcode because we trusted each other, or so I thought. What I found hit like a gut punch. Her camera roll was littered with photos of Jake. Hundreds, some old, but others screenshotted recently from his profiles. Candid shots, vacation pics, even intimate ones she'd clearly saved or received. Scrolling deeper, messages in her archived chats, flirty exchanges from months back, nothing full-blown physical that I could prove, but emotional as hell. "Miss our nights," one from him. Her reply, "Me too, but life's complicated now." And worse, posts she'd liked or saved where friends tagged him, like she was keeping tabs. It wasn't just a past, it was an active shadow over us. I sat there, staring at the glowing screen in our dim living room, feeling the weight of every sacrifice I'd made crumble. Why defend a past that was clearly bleeding into our present? Confusion washed over me. Had I been that naive? I didn't rage or smash anything. Just set the phone down, heart pounding, and waited for her to come out. She stepped out of the bathroom, towel around her hair, humming some tune. Saw me on the couch, phone in hand. "Wait, No, I'd put it back exactly as it was. But my face must have given it away because she froze. What's wrong? You look like someone died. I held up her phone, calm as I could manage. I saw the photos. And the messages. Jake's everywhere in here. Her eyes widened for a split second, then narrowed. She snatched the phone, scrolling frantically as if to confirm what I'd seen. Then she straightened, crossing her arms. So? I'm allowed to have a past. Those are just memories. You're seriously going through my stuff now. I wasn't going through it. It buzzed, I picked it up, and there it all was. Hundreds of pics, Emily. Recent screenshots. Messages saying you miss him. That's not a past, that's… I don't know, but it's not fair to me. She laughed, that sharp, dismissive laugh that always made me feel small. Oh my God, you're overreacting. Everyone keeps old photos. It's not like I'm cheating. Jake and I have history. We were together for years. You can't erase that just because you're insecure about it. Insecure? You've been comparing me to him for months. Jake did this better. Jake was more exciting. And now this. It feels like emotional cheating, like I'm just holding the place until something better comes along. She rolled her eyes, leaning against the kitchen counter, all smug confidence. Emotional cheating? Please. That's not a thing. I'm with you, aren't I? I chose you. But yeah, Jake was adventurous, skydiving, spontaneous trips. You're safe. Predictable. And that's fine, but don't act like I can't reminisce. If the roles were reversed, I'd understand. You'd freak out if I had pics of an ex? Hypocrite much? I stared at her, the twisted logic sinking in. If roles were reversed, she'd have blown up. She'd admitted as much in past arguments about my own exes, whom I'd cut contact with completely out of respect. But here she was, gaslighting me into thinking I was the problem. So, keeping intimate photos and flirty chats is okay? Dismissing my feelings is okay? They're not flirty, they're just catching up. And yes, it's my phone, my past. You don't get to police that. If you can't handle it, maybe you're not mature enough for this relationship. She paused, her tone turning colder, more entitled. Actually, you know what? If this is such a big deal, maybe we need space. I don't want to feel trapped by your jealousy. The words hung there, her smug expression like she'd won some debate. I felt the confusion peak. How had my loyalty turned into me being the villain? But something clicked. I didn't have to beg or fight. This wasn't worth salvaging if it meant constantly feeling like a backup. You're right, I said, voice steady, no emotion leaking through. You are allowed to have a past. She blinked, caught off guard. Wait, what? That's it. Yeah, that's it. I stood up, grabbed my duffel from the closet, and started packing essentials, clothes, laptop, toiletries. Methodical, no rush. What are you doing? Her voice rose, a hint of panic creeping in, but still that underlying dismissal, like she thought I'd fold. Packing. I'll crash at a friend's tonight. We can sort the rest later. She followed me to the bedroom, arms flailing now. You're seriously leaving over some photos? That's ridiculous. Grow up. We can talk about this. Delete them if it bothers you that much. God, you're acting like a child. I zipped the bag, slung it over my shoulder. No need. You said it. You're allowed your past. I'm not going to argue that. But we have a life here. The apartment, our plans. You're just walking away. Her smugness cracked a bit, turning to confusion, like she couldn't believe I wasn't chasing her. Yep. I grabbed my keys, headed for the door. The silence in the apartment was thick, broken only by her stuttering protests. Wait, seriously? You're not even going to fight for us? What kind of man does that? I paused at the threshold, looked back one last time. The kind who knows when something's not worth fighting for. And with that, I walked out into the night, the door clicking shut behind me. No yelling, no tears from me, just quiet detachment. I drove to my buddy's place, crashed on his couch, and stared at the ceiling for hours, the unfairness gnawing at me. Why had I given so much to someone who treated me like an afterthought? The confusion lingered, but so did a spark of relief. For the first time in months, I felt unburdened. The next morning hit like a freight train. My phone started blowing up before I even had coffee. 53 missed calls from Emily, a barrage of texts piling up. I didn't answer a single one. Instead, I silenced it, tossed it in my bag, and headed to work like it was any other day. My buddy, Mike, whose couch I'd crashed on, gave me a knowing look over breakfast. Dude, you okay? That was brutal last night. I nodded, forcing a half smile. Yeah, just need time to process. But inside, the confusion swirled. How had 2 years boiled down to me feeling like an intruder in my own relationship? I'd given up opportunities, built our life around her dreams, and in return, got dismissed like yesterday's news. The unfairness stung, the way she'd twisted it all to make me the insecure one. I sat with it during my commute, staring out the bus window at the blurring city streets, replaying her smug justifications. Part of me wondered if I should have fought harder, but no. Fighting would have meant begging for scraps, and I deserved better than that. At work, I threw myself into the routine. As a marketing coordinator, my days were packed with campaigns and deadlines. Perfect distraction. I didn't tell anyone at first, just focused on the tasks, cranking out a proposal that had been lagging. By lunch, though, the silence from my end must have driven her nuts because she showed up at the office. Our receptionist buzzed me. "There's an Emily here to see you. Says it's urgent." I could have ignored it, but I didn't want a scene. Stepped out to the lobby, where she stood red-eyed, makeup smudged, clutching her phone like a lifeline. "What the hell?" she hissed, voice low but trembling. "You just leave in the middle of the night? No note, nothing? I called you 53 times. I kept my tone even, hands in pockets. I said what I needed to last night. We're done. But we can fix this. I deleted all the photos, okay? See." She thrust her phone at me, scrolling through her empty camera roll. "It was stupid, I get it now. I was just holding on to memories, but you're right, it wasn't fair. Please, come home. We can talk. Emily, you made it clear, you're allowed your past." I respected that and stepped aside. Her face twisted, a mix of desperation and frustration. "That's not what I meant. I didn't want you to leave. You're overreacting. Jake means nothing now, we barely talk. It was just nostalgia. Nostalgia that made me feel like a placeholder. I'm not interested in being second best." She stepped closer, voice cracking. "Please. I love you. Don't throw us away over this." I shook my head, glancing at the clock. Lunch break was ending. "I have to get back to work. Take care." Turned and walked away, her pleas echoing in the lobby. No outburst from me, just calm detachment. Back at my desk, I blocked her number. The confusion lingered that afternoon. Why chase me now when she'd been so dismissive? But I let it breathe, focusing on breathing myself. That night, I started apartment hunting online, scrolled job listings just in case. Small steps, but they felt like reclaiming ground. The weeks blurred into a quiet rebuild. I found a small studio downtown, nothing fancy but mine. Moved in with Mike's help, unpacked boxes alone, reflecting on the sacrifices I'd glossed over. Flashback to last Christmas. I'd surprised her with a custom sketchbook for her designs, spent hours picking it out. She'd hugged me, but later that night, I caught her scrolling Jake's profile, liking an old post. Should have seen it then. Now, in the silence of my new place, the unfairness hit hardest. I'd been the rock, but rocks get eroded if you let them. So I didn't. Joined a gym, started running trails like we used to, but solo. Reconnected with old friends I'd neglected, game nights, beers after work. At the office, I pitched a new client strategy that landed me a promotion, senior coordinator, with a raise. It wasn't revenge, it was momentum. I dated casually a couple times, nothing serious, but it reminded me I wasn't predictable or safe. I was capable, and that was enough. Hints of her unraveling trickled in through mutuals. A friend mentioned seeing her out, looking rough, muttering about starting over with Jake. Another said she'd posted vague social media rants about insecure exes, but deleted them quick when people called her out. I didn't pry, kept my distance, no social media stalking. Let the space breathe. The confusion faded into clarity. Her past wasn't harmless. It was a crutch, and I'd been enabling it. By month 2, I felt lighter, like I'd shed dead weight. Work was thriving. I even took a weekend trip solo, hiking paths she'd have complained about. Life without the constant comparisons? Liberating. But karma has a way of circling back, doesn't it? About 3 months post-breakup, the real fallout hit her. I got the full picture piecemeal from a couple neutral friends who felt bad keeping it from me. Turns out, after I left, Emily dove headfirst into rekindling with Jake. Deleted photos? Yeah, right. That was just damage control. They'd been in touch more than she'd admitted, And with me gone, she moved in with him quick. At first, it was all bliss on her socials. Posts about rediscovering old flames, subtle digs at boring exes. But Jake? Unstable as ever. From what I heard, he was verbally abusive, constant put-downs, jealousy over her work friends, even drained her savings on some business venture that flopped. Then the cheating. She caught him with someone else, just like he'd done to her before. Discarded her like trash, kicked her out. She ended up crashing with a friend, but that soured fast when her drama spilled over. Her job unraveled too. Freelance graphic design requires focus, and she lost clients from missed deadlines, stress piling up. Reputation took a hit when mutuals pieced together the truth. Her past obsession had torpedoed a solid relationship, and now she was isolated, friends siding with me after hearing my side quietly. Broke, alone, posting cryptic pleas for second chances online. I didn't gloat, just noted it as the natural consequence of her choices. Then the reconciliation attempts ramped up. First, after blocking her main number, she used a friend's phone for texts. "Hey, it's me. Can we talk? I messed up big time." Ignored. Then voicemails from unknown numbers, escalating. One night, my phone rang late. Her, sounding slurry, probably after a few drinks. I picked up, curiosity winning for a second. "What do you want, Emily?" Her voice was desperate, words tumbling out. "Oh God, thank you for answering. Listen, Jake, he's awful. Abusive, cheated on me, just used me and left. I'm staying in this crappy motel now, can barely afford it. I lost 2 big clients last week. Everything's falling apart without you." I stayed silent, letting her fill it. "Please, I see now how good you were. Stable, kind. I took it for granted. Come back? We can start over. I'll cut Jake out for good, no more past." "That's your issue to fix, not mine. But I need you. Remember our hikes, the apartment? We had something real." "Had." Past tense. She paused, then anger crept in. "So that's it? You're just done? After everything, you won't even try? You're being so cold. You were the one who said I was overreacting. I'm just respecting your space now." Click. Hung up, blocked the number. But she didn't stop. Next came the toxic brigade, her friends and family. First, a call from her best friend, Sarah, unpleasant as ever, always enabling Emily's drama. "Look, she's a mess. Crying all the time. You need to man up and talk to her. It's not like she physically cheated. I don't owe her anything." Sarah scoffed. "Wow, harsh. She said you were controlling about her phone. Maybe work on that." Funny, she called it insecurity. Tell her to move on. Then her mom. Worse, condescending tone over the phone. "Young man, Emily's going through a rough patch. Family sticks together. You were practically family. Come over, sort this out. She's sorry, you know. Not interested. We're not family anymore. Young people these days, so disposable. She deserves better than this ghosting." I almost laughed. She got what she chose. Goodbye. Blocked. The attempts peaked with Emily herself, via email since phones were out. Subject, please read. Body full of please. I'm unraveling here. Lost my job today, fired for performance. Jake took everything. I know I was smug, dismissive. I was wrong. Let me make it up. Show up at your place. Ignored. Then anger boiled over in a follow-up. Fine. Ignore me. You're pathetic, running away instead of fighting. Jake was right. You're boring. But you'll regret this when I'm back on my feet. It showed her true colors. Desperate, then lashing out when rejected. I deleted it, unfazed. The hypocrisy was glaring. She'd accused me of immaturity, yet here she was, unraveling over consequences. The final nail came at our mutual friend Alex's birthday party, 6 months out. I debated going. Knew she might show, but I wasn't hiding. Arrived at the rooftop bar, casual vibe, string lights twinkling over the city skyline. I was in a good place. Promotion settled, new routine solid. Even chatting with a colleague, Lisa, who'd become a casual date. Nothing serious, but it felt natural. Emily spotted me across the crowd, looking worse for wear. Hair unkempt, clothes baggy, alone while groups laughed around her. She weaved through, cornering me by the bar. Her eyes were pleading, voice shaky. "Hey, didn't expect to see you here. Can we talk?" Privately. I sipped my drink calm. "Not much to say, Emily. Please, just 5 minutes." I hit rock bottom. Jake's gone, job's gone. Friends ditched me after hearing about the photos, the comparisons. I was wrong, so hypocritical. If you'd done that to me, I'd have left too. I see it now. Give us another shot? I've changed. Others glanced over, the public setting amplifying her desperation versus my composure. Lisa hovered nearby, a subtle contrast to Emily's isolation. I set my glass down, voice firm and even. You said you were allowed a past. You're right, I agree. And I'm allowed a future without it dragging me down. She blinked, words thrown back like a mirror. But that's not fair. We had plans. Plans you undermined with your nostalgia. The logic was twisted then, it's clear now. I've built something better. Promotion, new place, peace. You're irrelevant to that. Her face crumpled, hypocrisy exposed. So I'm nothing to you? After 2 years. Exactly. A lesson learned. Move on. She turned away, muttering, you'll regret this. But the power had flipped. She desperate, me thriving. The party continued. I rejoined friends, laughing, her exit unnoticed by most. Looking back, it's satisfying how it closed. I'm dating Lisa seriously now, career on track, no shadows. Emily, faded memory. Life's ironic. Her past became her prison while I walked free. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.